I never thought this day would come. Me agreeing with Candace Owens. Individuals will say that she doesn't like being black. She doesn't like her race. She portrayed her race. She was once all about being black. They would say she's married to an individual that isn't black. They would say that she's a coon. They would say a lot of negative things about Candace Owens. But to me, if you disagree with an individual, you can also learn from any individual. And there's some things that she says that I agree with. And these are one of the some of the things that I agree with about the black culture. So to me today, we're gonna have a discussion coming from where I come from in the ghetto and the projects. This might be a tough discussion for me because I participated in some of these things that I'm going to talk about. But I've grown and I'm a change man and I want to help the youth so they don't have to continue down the path that I had to participate in before. And I didn't have to participate in it, I chose to. But I can also choose to change because, like me looking at the landscape of the black culture today, looking at the music, looking at the propaganda, the way that we're betrayed, I don't like what I see. I don't like the direction I think that we're headed. I think that everything isn't negative or destructive. I think it's a lot of individuals that's talking positive, that's moving forward, that's thinking forward. But I do see a lot of demonic. I see a lot of victimization, people being victims. I see a lot of corrupt individuals. I see a lot of violence, hypocritical individuals, and I see a lot of counterproductive individuals. And man, we just got to agree that we're not in a good place as a culture, as a whole. And why would anyone want to participate in something that's counterproductive? Like for real, why would you want to participate in that? And I'm gonna play some audio and some things, and we're gonna discuss these things. And you may agree, you may not disagree, but I hope that you can internalize some things and learn a few things also from this discussion.
It wasn't Kanye West that put the White Lives Matter t-shirt on first. You did. You did by intentionally ignoring what Black Lives Matter would actually mean if it was applied. It would mean taking a look at all of these statistics that I've just rattled off to you. It would mean taking a look at the real problem that is happening, which is our culture, a celebration of perversity pitched to us as if it's diversity. It's not. It is not diversity that we are celebrating. It is perversity. You think that it's something to be proud of. It's not. So when you say something like, oh, Candace Owens, we don't want you in our culture. You don't understand Black culture. I have to keep reminding you that I don't want to be a part of this culture. I want to destroy it. I want to destroy it further than it's already destroyed itself. I want to go backward. Your idea of progressivism is clearly regressive.
I'm gonna mention some statistics, but before I mention those statistics, she said she don't want to be a part of the culture. You know, I've made rap music before. Still continue to make rap music, but my subject matter has changed. Uh, I lived in the hood and participated in street activities and pharmaceutical sales activities, but my life has changed. And when I look back, it wasn't a beneficial thing. It wasn't a prosperous thing. A lot of the people I grew up with is dead and gone or in prison, majority of them, and I wonder why. But now I know why. Everything that we engaged in didn't have any benefit. Everything we engaged in was godless. Everything. So as I start to change my mind in my life, I start to lose friends. And that was hard for me. That was hard for me at first, but until I realized that that was needed, it became a good thing because I didn't have those negative attachments attached to me anymore. So if you listening to this and you young and you like, why my people ain't gonna accept me in the hood no more if I go that route, Trev. My people ain't gonna like me, them ain't your people then, because those people ain't connected to your well-being. They ain't looking out for your best interest. They're not connected to God-like activities. And you need to remove yourself from that, because if you smoking weed all day and in the hood doing foolishness, they'll be your friend. But right when you start going to that bookstore and you start learning your history, you start learning and you start repetitively trying to better yourself, trying to become more healthy, they're gonna fall back and fall off, and they ain't gonna have nothing positive to say about you. So I'm gonna read some of those statistics that she was talking about. And these statistics is part of the reason, like, a lot of black folks that's progressing in the United States don't want to associate themselves with the culture no more. I'm like, damn, Trev done turned into a coon too. What the world coming to? But I'm just trying to look out for my people's best interests. So 72% of the births are out of wedlock. Why does that matter? Because I was born out of wedlock. No disrespect to my parents. I love my parents. I was born out of wedlock, but that leads a harder life for the child, because they won't have both parents there. They won't have both parents' finances. You know, like most married couples, they have less struggles. The family structure is stronger. They're not in a struggling situation, so the child has more opportunities to be successful. But 72% of the births in our community is out of wedlock. So that's 72% of the chances for us to fail. Okay. 64% of violent crimes are committed by blacks in totality. And we only 12 or 13% of the country, but 64% of the violent crimes are committed by African Americans. What is that saying? We can't take it back to slavery and say we violent because of what we went through, what we going through. That's being a victim. What you gonna do about it though? You ain't gotta kill nobody, you ain't gotta do nothing negative to do something about it. You can learn, you can set yourself up for success, dog. Real talk. Because if you're not doing that, you're doing something counterproductive. 51% of murders are committed by blacks. Damn. Okay. 40% of women who get abortions in the United States are black. That's another sign that they don't even believe in the man. The man might pay for the abortion, or they might not have faith that the man is going to be there and provide and do this and that, and they have an abortion, or they might just wanted to have sex that night and they made a mistake and now they have an abortion. So why that's important to me is because we used to be the second most populated race in the United States, but now we're falling. We're falling. Homosexuality is being promoted more. I ain't got nothing against nobody in that community. But at the end of the day, when it comes to black culture, I got something to ask the females that's a part of the black culture. I mean, that's a part of that community. Y'all don't want to procreate with us, men. Y'all don't like us no more like that. Y'all don't even want to procreate and further y'all race. Y'all don't like the man, or has the man abused y'all and y'all hurt by something? Y'all don't want to procreate with us. Y'all don't like the man or the race. Y'all don't like yourself, because we are y'all. At the end of the day, y'all don't want to procreate with us no more. That's crazy to me. For real. Okay, so 7,500 blacks are murdered by blacks each year. It's too many, dog. The number one cause of death in our culture is homicide. It's just getting out of control. Real talk.
Aside from throwing up your hands in despair, what is to be done?
The first thing to be done is to understand that this was a result of policies begun in the 1960s. This is not a legacy of what happened 100 years before the 1960s.
breakdown of the black family is not a legacy of slavery.
No, if you the classic study of this goes all the way back to the era of slavery, and they find that most black kids, even under slavery, had lived with two parents, and that was true all the way up until the 1960s. And so, if you really want to find out what's changed, it has changed since the 1960s. And the fact that whites now have a higher rate of illegitimacy than blacks had when Moynihan wrote suggests that this is something that spreads out. But if you look at something else, if you look at those blacks, and look at black husband-wife families, the poverty rate among such families has been in single digits every year since 1994. And so if you look at the external causes, why the husband and wife families and the welfare single mom families all are facing the same society and objective things, but the results are radically different because the cultures and values are different.
He said the poverty rate, the poverty rate when you're married is in single digits. But when you're an individual and you're alone, most of the time the female is going to be left with the child. They're going to be poor. It's going to be hard to come up. It's going to be hard. Like, you need a union. You need to be united. You need to be unified if you want to elevate. Real talk, man. And then another thing that caught my attention about Thomas, what he said was that uh the policies that was created in the 60s around the Martin Luther King, the Malcolm X era, around that time, those policies that was created back then had more to do with where we're at today than slavery did. Those policies. Now, when you look at those laws that was created in the 80s that locked up a lot of black men, that had a lot to do with why so many people are separated and so many families are separated. But when they created those laws, I know people say that that the government and the politics targeted black people, but we could have done something about it and not allowed those things to hinder us. We could have unified and united and came together. Like, man, it's to the point now that, like, if you ain't on elevation and trying to better yourself and trying to unite and be better as a whole, I don't even want to be a part of what you got going on. I'm not going out to eat wings and watch football and have drinks with you. Period. Ever. Don't include me in those type of activities, dog. But another thing that's crazy is, like, when I think about us, I think about what do they think about us, though. Real talk.
African American vote?
Definitely.
Tell us how.
Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get IDs you do over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
A lot of people have smartphones, but you might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware.
Man, they don't think we got smartphones. They don't think we can get identification. They don't think that we even got data if we do have a smartphone. And then the young lady said that I don't even know if they have the knowledge to be able to work the internet. But it ain't their fault that they think like that. To me, you don't have to agree with me. To me, it's not their fault that they think like that. It's our fault that they think like that, because we come into situations where we be victims and we make excuses for ourselves of why we can't do something, when in all reality we're capable. When me growing up in the hood, I created repetition of doing the things that wasn't no good for me. For me to change that lifestyle, I had to create repetition in doing the things that was good for me. I had to work out daily. I got books on my desk right now that I read. I read at least a chapter a day, minimum. If I don't read it with the book, I listen to an audio book for a minimum of an hour a day. I do something healthy. I make sure I drink my water. I create repetition and positive things, man. Real talk, because I don't want to have no excuses and I don't want nobody to think less of me. For real. Now, what is that saying about people like Trev? You wilding right now. But I want to say something about all leaders, all people that's billionaires, all people that's in power. I want to bring something to the conversation about that.
You could point to a large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
They aren't really Negro leaders. These are puppets that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community.
He called them puppets and parrots. What is a puppet? A puppet is a person that you put your hand up under and you control what they do. A parrot repeats what you say. Puppets and parrots. So how is these people getting put in these positions and obtaining this wealth that they have obtained, but they're not doing nothing with it for the community? But what's crazy, the youth glorify that because they obtain those things. The youth glorify these people with millions of dollars. It's not doing nothing for nobody. They puppets and parrots, like Malcolm X said. Black culture. Damn, man. Leave me something in the comment section, man. Let's further the discussion in the comment section, man. I'm speechless because I never thought I would come to this point where I'm in agreement with people that I usually would disagree with a lot of the things that they say, but I'm in agreement with it now because why wouldn't I be? Real talk. I'm gonna leave y'all with this, man. But I appreciate y'all for tuning into my show, man. I appreciate all the new subscribers and the people who support me, man. Peace, love, plenty, abundance. Make sure you go get you some money, and I'm out.
I don't know when this became Black culture. I get that commentary all the time. Candace, you don't know Black culture. You don't represent Black culture. I do not want to represent this Black culture. Stop pitching it to me. Stop trying to accuse me of wanting to be a part of it. I want nothing to do with it. I offer commentary because it needs to change. We need to reflect and have a serious discussion if we want things to change. We need to stop blaming white people for these things, right? We need to sit down and look in the mirror and say, how did we get here? We need to talk about the music that is on the airwaves. Because as I said earlier, thoughts become things. And when you are celebrating gun culture and when you are celebrating drugs, when you're making it a cool thing for children that are growing up without a father in the home, right? That's what happens. You break down the Black family as the government has strategically done, dating back to the Great Society Act. What happens is these children will still pursue paternity elsewhere. And that elsewhere is the streets.